It's time for Damn Good Marketing Podcast. I'm your host, Shelby Clement. From corporate executive to CEO to entrepreneur and the founder of Damn Good Marketing Live, this podcast is all about digital marketing, building a business you love, and creating a brand that's authentic to who you are. So if you're ready for honest, raw marketing conversations that you will not find anywhere else, let's freaking get it. Hey guys, welcome back. This episode is going to be a little bit different than normal, but I decided to do a two-part series. I don't even think the word series is the correct whatever, but it's going to be part one, aka right now, a letter to me. And then part two is after the fact, DGML and how I'm feeling and all the things. This is what you're going to be, what you would call a raw episode. So just bear with me. And honestly, it's not for you. It's for me, but also in the same sense, it's for anyone that lacks the things that I lack, which is taking a pause and being appreciative of how far you've come, what you've built, and just like celebrate even the smallest wins. Because if we don't take the time to celebrate those wins, then what is the point of us continuing? We're going to drive ourselves into the ground. We're going to burn out. We're never going to think it's good enough. And so this episode is all dedicated to yours truly, the younger version of Shelby, the future version of Shelby, and honestly, the current version of Shelby that also still goes through defeat, imposter syndrome. Like it's just like so many things. And I just wanted to like really hone in on this event. Number one is double what it was last year. And so I want to say like, holy shit, Shelbs, I'm very freaking proud of you for chasing your dreams. And I also want to open it up and tell all of you that I am just as scared as all of you. I am just as fearful of people not liking it, or maybe it's going to fail, or maybe, this isn't the right thing that I'm supposed to be doing. But let me tell you this, like, you don't know unless you try. And that is what I'm really proud of myself for, is that I felt this in my gut. I felt that there was a bigger purpose. I felt like I could really reach more people than we did last year. And I really just like have gotten to know so many amazing human beings that could come in as speakers. And I truly am just like blown away by the people that are flying in from everywhere, the people that are coming into this conference to pour into all of you that have bought tickets for this conference. And then like all the people that have bought tickets for this conference, I'm so freaking proud of you guys. And so I just want to say to Shelby, I'm very proud of you. I know that it gets hard, and I know that you struggle, and I know that there's ugly girl cries, and you have moments where anxiety takes over your body and you don't know if you go right or left. And it truly is a paralyzing feeling, but I want you to know that you are doing exactly what God has intended for you to do. You are living out the full purpose that He intended on you to live out. You are something far beyond you can ever imagine, far beyond something you can ever plan, far beyond something that you can ever control, because God created you perfectly. And as like some of you are listening to this, you might think this is so weird, but I'm going to challenge each of you to do this. Take a video of yourself right now of where you are and list like 3 things that you're proud of. Because if you don't do that, life will pass you by and you're only going to focus on the negative. You're only going to focus on the things that didn't happen instead of focusing on the things that did happen. And so I am so grateful for every single person that is coming to this event. I'm so grateful for shooting my shot and asking some of these speakers to come in, because truly I didn't think they'd say yes. So to Shelby, I'm proud of you. I love you. And I really just want you to know you're special and you are doing everything you're supposed to be doing. And I cannot wait to watch all of it unfold, because that little girl version of you would have never dreamed that this was her life. And that little girl version of you is very proud. And I'm very proud. And I'm so excited to hug literally every single person in that room tomorrow and Wednesday, that it's literally just like giving me chills, because I like there's truly just no words. And so I'm going to leave you with this. If you are chasing a dream, if you feel like you're meant for more, if you're confused on which way to go, I am going to challenge you to chase your dreams, get quiet, and really understand like what your God-given purpose is, and really go after it. Screw what people think. Screw the fear that you have in your head, because I promise you this, we all feel it. We all feel it. And I couldn't be more proud of the woman I've become and the journey that I'm going to share at DGML with everyone, and how this year has been probably one of the most challenging, if not the most challenging years of my life, and how I've navigated it, how I've completely surrendered, how I felt like at one point I was going to just shut it all down, burn it to the ground, like all these things. And I can't wait to share. And after, I will share it obviously with all of you, but I want you all to know this. You are loved, you are special, and you are doing that God-given purpose that you're meant to do if you're able to let go of the opinions of others, the fear that you have within inside of you. I'm going to tell you this Sunday night, before the event. So this is going to launch next week, but for Sunday night before the event, Sunday during the day, it was random. I could never have called this, but I walk in and I literally, anxiety and like the emotions just took over my body, and I just couldn't do anything. And thankful for my amazing husband. He stepped right on in. He turned on music. We started dancing. We started coloring as a family. And it really just like eased my mind and brought me back to life, in realization that the devil was trying to steal my joy, and the imposter syndrome was trying to sneak in. And I was telling myself so many lies, like, what if no one comes? What if everybody hates it? Why am I doing this? Who do I am to think I'm doing this? I'm telling you, y'all, it happens to all of us. It happens to every single one of us, but you have to be willing to take the leap of faith. You have to be willing to put in the work that it takes in order to achieve your goals. And yes, this year was the most challenging year, but I wouldn't change it for the world, because it has brought me out on a better side of it, where I now can truly say I'm mentally okay to talk about what happened and how I overcame certain obstacles in my life, and how I'm going to help you overcome them as well. I love you all. Thank you so much for tuning in. And to Shelby, girl, this is weird as hell, but to you, Shelbs, I'm so freaking proud. I want you to stand on that stage tomorrow and Wednesday and close your eyes and just thank God for the life that you get to live. The life that he has envisioned and instilled in you to live, and to inspire and motivate and to teach, and like the talent that you have to give these people that have surrounded around you, because they love you and they honor you and they trust you so much more than you can fathom. And I just want you to trust that he is leading you in the right direction. And I want you to give all glory to God, and in the worst of worst, surrender, but in the good of good, surrender, because he is the only one in control. I love you all. I'm going to snuggle my babies. Tonight is the last night of momming before I get full force into event mode. I have my mangoes. Y'all know I'm obsessed. I'm going to have to drink a crap ton of water and literally read my keynote while I snuggle my babies. I love you all. Until next time. Let's freaking get it. All right, guys, I want to take a moment to give a huge thank you to all of our sponsors for DGML. Hallware Wellness and Aesthetics, Emma's Shoes and Accessories, Michelle's and Ledoux Orthodontics, The Beauty Bar, Let's Make Plans, Shelby Clement Marketing, Connie's Impressions, shout out parents, Heather Lato Photography, Haven Flower Farms, Woodlake Addiction Recovery, Lettuce Media, Arena Collective, The Neat Method, Career Dental, Vet Naturally, Kinder Diaz and Associates, The One Pop Mama, L&H Homes, Contemporary Baby, and Shannon Fowler with Ironbridge Wealth Counsel. Hey guys, welcome back. We are day 2 post DGML. I know I'm looking pretty rough, but at this point, like, I don't care, because I just wanted to come on here and really just like hone in, because it was such a high that was so unexpected that it's literally taking so much out of me emotionally and physically and mentally, that like I want to make sure I get everything in this podcast. And no, we're not going to be done talking about it after this podcast, because it was probably one of the most life-changing things I've ever experienced and had the honor of hosting. There was a lot of things behind the scenes that tried to sabotage this, aka I woke up Monday very, 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 very sick. And
Obviously when you plan an event like this, you're not going to let that stop you because let's be real, we've waited all year for this. But I was just praying to Jesus, like, hey, can you please just get me through these days? And I don't care how sick I am on Thursday. And so I had the best team. I have the best doctor. I have everyone that was like surrounding me and loving me and, getting me through the things that I couldn't get. And then honestly, on Tuesday, I woke up and I just said, God, get me through these days because these people really deserve it and they need to be in this room. And I just don't I have chills thinking about how amazing it was and just explaining like the whole thought process of like DGML. Obviously this conference was born and put on my heart last year, and originally it was for women and empowering women, and it just didn't feel right. And then last year it hit me and it wanted to be this marketing event because we don't have those around here. And, some will argue and say it wasn't that big of a marketing event this year, but I will argue and say that it was. And I will say that it was there for so much empowerment on women and in entrepreneurship and marketing and showing up as who you are and being unapologetically yourself and leaning into leadership and team building and building a personal brand and email and messaging and how to convert and all those things. And we truly delivered on all those things. And it was just amazing. I went to dinner with all of the speakers on Wednesday night, and we were just sitting there and just talking. And, it's so crazy how this whole entire event unfolded. And when you put on an event, there's a lot of planning that goes into it. And as you as an attendee, you probably think that these speakers plan out their talks far in advance and that the host knows this. And yes, we do talk about the topics that we want to talk about, and we do talk about the things that we are going to get on stage and talk about in the goals that we want to do, because obviously we want to make sure that everyone in there has something tangible to walk away with. Well, there was probably 3 or 4 of us, the speakers, that changed their entire keynotes or their talks for what they were going to talk about before they got up there. And I mean like 30 minutes before, because this room was so freaking powerful that we felt it in the attendees. We felt it in the room. We felt God tap into us and say, like, this is actually what you need to talk about today. And this is how you're going to move people today. And I remember going in the back before I even got up there and spoke, on the second day, because it was my hardest story to tell. And I remember just saying, God, just get me through this. Just get me through this. Give me the words. There's no more that I can prepare for this. There's no more that you can, that I can tell or teach. I need you to guide me through this and get me through this storytelling. And in true honesty, he did. And I broke down and I prayed that I wouldn't cry. And I did cry, but that's also okay. And the movement that was in that room, like, I truly still don't have words of like what happened or everything we got out of it. And I have even these messages from people that say like, Shelby, what happened in that room? Or my life has changed, or you tapped into something that I didn't even know existed, or something Trent said or Keisha said or Casey said or one of them said just truly like lit a fire under me. And the whole thing about all of this is, y'all, entrepreneurship is not easy. Building a business isn't easy. Being a mama isn't easy. Chasing your dreams isn't easy. And letting God lead and bring you into the direction that you're supposed to be going and meant to be, and that purpose that you're supposed to be driving isn't always easy, because you will always have critics and people will not always understand, and they're not always going to cheer for you. And that's okay. And I think that with this room this week, I think it was so powerful that it gave the permission to show up and still do what you felt in your heart that God was leading you to do. And I just want to say from the bottom of my heart to every single attendee that opened up and got vulnerable and networked and cried and journaled and really just took, everything they could from this event, and like, just I there's just like literally no words. It was absolutely amazing. The people that surrounded just me in prayer and made sure before we kicked off, like, Shelby, have you been prayed over? And Emily Songer prayed over me so much. And it gives me chills to think about. I've just never experienced something to that caliber. And when I tell you God was in that room, for those 2 days, he was present, because the only way I got through those 2 days is because of him. The only way that conference went off without a hitch and without anything I would change, because as we are looking back and as I'm talking to Kristen and Elena and like our team and debriefing everything and Casey and all these things and saying like, what would you have changed? And I say nothing. Now, don't get me wrong. We have stuff in the works for next year to get better and like do better and give you more. And like, cause I'm just somebody that wants to make sure everyone is enjoying themselves and loving it. But right now, if you ask me what I would have changed this year, I would tell you confidently nothing. Because I believe that everything that happened in that room happened for a reason. And I believe that it touched the people it needed to. And yes, I did get some funny, fun, not really feedback from a specific individual. Um, but that's okay, because you want to know something? You're not going to please everybody. Jesus didn't please everybody. They don't all understand your vision. They're not going to all understand your goals. They're not going to all understand where you want to go. And that's okay. And that is okay, because one time, I let people in the past, I've let people dictate like my feelings and my thoughts and how proud I am of myself. And like in this moment, I am trying so freaking hard not to allow that, because I'm so proud of the room that I've built. I'm so proud of the things that I've done. I'm so proud of the growth that has happened just in 1 year. And what DGML was last year, it was beautiful and it was everything it needed to be. But what DGML was this year, there are absolutely no words. There are no words. That room was magical. That room was incredible. And that room was something that I will always be grateful for. And after we wrapped up on Wednesday or whatever, I went to dinner with a couple of the speakers. And when I entered the Southern to go get them, because we brought them to the Chimes, because why not? Like Louisiana food. Crystal, Keisha, Emily, and Tanya were sitting there, and they were already going around saying like, what is one thing that you're proud of for yourself? And when it got to me, I was like, I'm just proud of DGML. And they were like, no, that's not good enough. And I am an overachiever, and I am very, very, very hard on myself, and I'm huge. I'm so competitive, and I am the first to say like, that's not good enough for me. And that's where I lack of this year. We didn't sell out DGML, and that's okay. And at first I was very sad, and I felt like it was a failure, and I felt very defeated. Yes, we sold out VIP, but like the regular day tickets, I was like, it doesn't make sense to me. It's not wrapping my brain around why people just don't want to come. And that's an ego thing. And I've ego checked myself a lot this year, but it's also a thing of there's other things that go into the play where if people can come, if they can afford it, yes, it is an investment. And it is, something I pour so much time and effort into, and these big speakers that we're bringing in from all over the country and all those things. But there's other avenues that it's just not for some people. And I truly looked at them and I said, I'm proud of the people that were in the room. And I'm proud of myself for allowing me to accept that it didn't get sold out, but I felt deep in my heart that the people that were in the room were the people that were supposed to be in the room. And I finally feel such a relief that, yes, I hold myself at high standards and all these things, because I do want to be the best, and I do want to give the best, and I do want to show up and be exactly what everybody wants me to be. But in reality, that's not what God intends. And if he had a different plan, which he did, and he took this conference and he took it and he showed us what he wanted to talk about. But it shows you that you are not in control. You are not in control of your destiny. You are not in control of whatever happens in your life. He is. And if you aren't ready to surrender and let him take full ownership and the wheel, then you will fall short. And when you fall short, it's because you weren't obedient to him. And it's just thinking back to the last 2 days and how amazing it was, and the messages I've gotten and the hugs I've gotten and the people that have cried to me and the people that are crying on the internet. And, it's beautiful. It's beautiful because we live in a world today where people are scared to say and do things because they might get canceled, or they might, upset someone, or somebody might unfollow them or unsubscribe for their email, or whatever that may look like. And that's just not something that we should worry about, because in reality, God made you unique as to who you are, and he has made you in a way that you are going to attract the people that want to be around you. And no matter how much good feedback you get or how much support you get from people, we're humans. We're still going to let the ones that don't like what we do or how we've done it or the experience they've had with us affect us. And I want to just challenge you and I invite you to really let that set free and release all of that, because I'm proud of all of you. I'm proud of you whether you were in that room, whether you were not in that room. I'm proud of you for chasing your dreams. I'm proud of you for getting up even when you fall. And Casey said something so beautiful, that business is a blessing and failure is a privilege. And the fact that like just listening to that and honing in on that is just so beautiful. And then beautifully wrapping it up and saying, it all starts with you, which is very, very, very true, because it really does all start with you. And if you aren't able to look at yourself in the mirror and own whatever you're doing and whatever you're going through and how you're building a business, then you're not going to get to the next level. And it was just an experience that was just so beautiful. And I remember sitting at dinner and we were all talking, and I just like we were talking to everyone, but I simply just looked at Trent and I was like, I just thank you so much for, being who you are and being so amazing and so down to earth and just like blessing us. And truly he took us to church. And like at that point I hadn't cried yet, but when he wrapped up, honey, my tears, they came. And it was a beautiful moment because I looked at him and I said, you wrapped up this conference in such a beautiful bow, and you brought everything we all talked about together into one. And the crazy thing is he wasn't there the whole time. He didn't listen to everyone. And yes, we did give him a debrief, but it wasn't enough to tell him what we actually said and the feeling that was in the room. And Tanya stopped everyone and said, for people to not believe in God is beyond me, because that was God's work. And we all just like stopped and we were like, absolutely, because he was in that room to wrap up such a conference to make sure people knew that he was present and that they need to surrender to him. And now this is a marketing conference, but you can't do anything in life without him and trusting him and believing in him. So this conference was something beyond I could have ever dreamed and imagined. And I'm still recovering, obviously, from it. I look like death on this video, and that's totally okay with me. But you get one life to live. Like, you get one life to live and you're not promised tomorrow. And so why are you letting the fear of others, the fear of failure, the fear of anything stop you from moving the needle forward and understanding that you are meant for more and you were built, or you were put on this earth for a bigger purpose, and God did not make a mistake on you, and he gifted you exactly with what you need. And a lot of times we're scared to take that leap of faith because we're scared to fall, but you got to trust God, because he'll never put you through something that you can't handle. And even in the hardest of times, where it's very hard to cling to him, is you have to trust. And I told the room the other day that I lost sight of him for the longest time in my business. It didn't mean I didn't believe in him. It was because I was trying to dictate my fate without him, and I was trying to make every move without him. And I had this, perfect business on paper into the world at the beginning of this year, and all these things. And, we were on track for 7 figures, and we were going to do this. And, obviously that hospital didn't open my eyes that now, I'm diagnosed with an autoimmune disease because of the fact of stress and everything. And I was trying to do everything without him. And, it's something where it's going to make you surrender. And I was at my lowest of lows, and he brought me back. He brought me home, and I was ugly girl crying on the bathroom floor when I surrendered and said, please just lift me up and tell me which direction you want me to go. You want me to burn SCM down? I'll do it. You want me to stop doing what I'm doing? I'll do it. You have to lead me into where I need to go. And that's where all these other things were born in my life, where it was going to make me easier. And that's where, the membership was born, because I've had so many conversations with these people that said, I'm at burnout, Shelby. I know I need to do these things. I know I need to do XYZ and be consistent on social media, but like, I don't know how, and I don't have time. And, all these things, or I don't have the budget for an agency, or I don't want to work with an agency, or like whatever that may look like. And this is where the development of like the power of the pause came, and the ease came, and the membership came, because it really is giving you the opportunity to be on social media without it dictating your life, and you can be present in your kid's life. And I remember like surrendering, because I was against this membership the whole time. And I remember Casey saying like, Shelby, I think you should do a membership. I think you should build this. I think you'd be really good at this. And I was like, no. And I don't want to do that. And when I surrendered and he made it very clear of what I wanted to do and how I needed to do it and all those things, it just, it makes me feel free. I'm not addicted to social media anymore. I'm not tied to it. It's not running my life. I'm present with my kids. And the moment I did that is the moment my whole world shifted. I got clarity. I got a really good community that was like, clinging on to me. I got just so much connection and content that you can create when you can just open your eyes and let God lead you in what, direction that you need to go. And I think we all struggle with that. And I think that DGML this year was a beautiful testament of that. And then I'm just very proud. I'm very proud of what it looked like. People danced, got out of their comfort zone. They were crying. We prayed, y'all. We prayed. And the thing is with this is this. God has gotten removed from things because of the fear of what other people are going to say or think. And like, truly, if you don't believe in God, that's on you. And if you are like a different type of spiritual or you believe in anything else, that's on you. And I'm not going to judge you for that. But like, I'm also going to freely talk about it. And hence why on every piece of our merch, it has God really big on the back. And there's a reason for that. And I was very much so of bringing God back into a conference and back into the world, because if anything at all, we need him right now more than ever. And so I'm very proud of this conference, whether you came into the room and you hated it and you thought you didn't get anything out of it, or to the people that came into that room and has been sending me the kindest of messages and telling me how much they love it and they're talking about it and they can't wait for next year. And I just appreciate every one of you. I appreciate the opinions that you have and the feedback that you give, because no matter what, I couldn't do this without you. I couldn't be living out my dream if, it wasn't for you guys. And I just love you all so much that I truly mean it, that when you come up and talk to me and tell me your story, or you DM me and tell me your story, I intentionally want to respond to you, and I intentionally want to be there for you and cheer for you and love on you and really be there and tell you that it's going to be hard, but it's going to be worth it. You are meant to be more. You are meant to do things. You are meant to embrace the hard and get the hell through it, because when you surround yourself with like-minded individuals, you will change your life and you will change the lives of others around you. So from the bottom of my heart, I say thank you to every attendee, to every speaker, to every sponsor, to every volunteer, to my entire team, to everyone that helped out. I thank you so, so, so much for everything that you have done. Everything that you have done. Because I wouldn't be able to live out my dream if it weren't for you believing in me, and then also believing in yourself. Y'all, DGML 2025 is already in the works. We are so excited. We're making some big moves and some big changes, and I cannot wait to announce it. We have the wait list linked in the bottom show notes for you. Go ahead and get on that wait list, because we are going to send it out to you guys first. There will be limited tickets. I cannot wait to start telling you all the things that we're planning, but until then, I'm going to keep it close to my chest. I love you all so freaking much. And until next time, let's freaking get it.
And that's a wrap on another episode of Damn Good Marketing Podcast. Thank you all so much for being here. Make sure you comment, review, share it with a friend. Come back next week. And until next time, let's freaking get it.